On March 15, 2019, 51 lives were stolen in a place meant to be safe, a mosque, a sanctuary of peace. Mothers, fathers, children, ordinary people who had come to pray were gunned down in an act of unimaginable hatred. Their dreams, their futures, their voices were silenced in an instant. But this tragedy did not happen in isolation. The attacker was drawn into a digital world where hate was nurtured, where extremism thrived, where voices of reason were drowned out by relentless propaganda. Platforms like 4chan and Facebook, through their recommendation algorithms, kept feeding him more of the same: more division, more racism, more violence. He was trapped in a filter bubble, one that distorted reality and stripped away his humanity. In his manifesto, he pointed to these online echo chambers as his inspiration. They did not just radicalize him, they fueled his path to murder. And the world mourned. Families were shattered, communities broken, a nation left in grief, a father who lost his son, a child who will never see their mother again. The consequences of this digital isolation are not just words on a screen. They are funerals, tears, and an unbearable silence where laughter once lived. This is the cost of unchecked filter bubbles. This is the cost of a world where hate is amplified and truth is hidden. And for the families who lost their loved ones that day, the pain will never fade. The internet is often compared to this vast library, offering an endless supply of information at our fingertips. But in reality, what each person sees is carefully curated. The idea that we are all accessing the same version of the internet is an illusion. It feels infinite, but it is, in fact, shaped by invisible forces, filtering what we see and what we don't. If you have ever searched for something online, you might assume that two people searching for the same topic would see identical results. But this is rarely the case. Try a simple experiment. Ask two people in different locations to type the same keywords into a search engine and compare what appears on their screens. The differences can be subtle or striking. One person might see news articles highlighting a certain political angle, while another might find completely different sources. One person might see results leading to scientific studies, while another might be directed to opinion blogs. The same search, the same internet, yet two different realities. This happens because of how the internet personalizes content. Every action, every click, every like, every search is tracked. Over time, algorithms learn what you engage with the most and begin shaping your experience around it. If you frequently click on certain types of news, you will see more of that type. If you watch videos with a particular political leaning, similar recommendations will fill your feed. Slowly, without realizing it, your online world becomes a reflection of your past behaviors rather than a true representation of reality. Let's take example of two friends, Emma and David. They both hear about a major news event and decide to look it up. Emma, who often reads articles from mainstream news sources, finds stories from well-known publications reporting on the event with a neutral tone. David, who follows independent bloggers and alternative media, sees a completely different perspective, one filled with speculation and strong opinions. When they later discuss the topic, they are surprised at how differently they perceive the same event. Each believes they have seen the full picture, yet in truth they have only seen the version of reality that their online habits have created. This is what is known as the filter bubble. It is an invisible world created by algorithms, shaping what each of us sees without our awareness. Unlike traditional censorship, where information is deliberately blocked, the filter bubble is more subtle. It doesn't remove information outright, but it makes certain perspectives less visible. It gives us more of what we already believe, making it harder to discover opposing views or unexpected insights. At first glance, this might seem harmless, even helpful. After all, it feels good to see content that aligns with our interests. But over time, this selective exposure can have profound consequences. It shapes not only what we know, but also how we think. It reinforces our existing beliefs, making us less likely to question them. It can create divisions, where people with different perspectives struggle to understand each other. Most importantly, it limits our ability to explore the vast world of information that the internet was originally designed to provide. The internet was once imagined as a space of endless possibility, a tool for discovery and learning. But in this hidden world, where algorithms quietly shape our experiences, we must ask ourselves, are we truly exploring, or are we merely being guided down a carefully curated path? The birth of the filter. Bubble in the early days of the internet, there was a sense of limitless freedom. It was a place where anyone could search for information, connect with others, and explore different ideas without restrictions. There were no invisible barriers controlling what people saw. If someone wanted to learn about a topic, they would type a search query and receive the same results as anyone else. News websites, discussion forums, and personal blogs coexisted, offering a broad range of perspectives. The internet felt like an open window to the world, a place of discovery where knowledge was not confined by personal preferences or hidden algorithms. But as the internet grew, so did the need to organize its vast amount of information. In the early 2000s, search engines like Google became essential tools, helping users navigate the endless web. At first, search results were simple. They were based mainly on relevance, showing the most widely shared and frequently visited pages. But soon a shift began. As more people came online, companies realized that the best way to keep users engaged was not just to provide relevant information, but to personalize it. The more time people spent online, the more data companies could collect, and the more valuable that data became. Personalization started subtly. Early search engines began refining results based on location, assuming that someone searching for a restaurant or service would prefer options nearby. Over time, this personalization expanded beyond location and started shaping content based on individual behavior. If someone frequently searched for a particular topic, the search engine would prioritize similar content in future results. What began as a way to improve user experience turned into something far more influential, the quiet creation of digital worlds that were different for each person. Social media platforms took personalization even further. Facebook, which started as a simple way to connect with friends, introduced an algorithm-driven newsfeed that showed users the posts they were most likely to engage with. The goal was to keep people on the platform longer. Instead of displaying posts in chronological order, Facebook began using artificial intelligence to determine what each person would find most interesting. Posts from friends a user interacted with the most appeared first. News articles that matched their past reading habits surfaced more frequently. Over time, people stopped seeing a neutral version of their social media feed. Instead, they saw a version tailored specifically for them. Companies like Google, Amazon, and YouTube followed similar paths. Google refined its search results based on past searches, clicks, and browsing history. Amazon recommended products based on previous purchases and browsing patterns. YouTube introduced an autoplay feature that automatically queued videos similar to the ones a user had watched before. Each of these changes made the internet feel more convenient, but they also quietly shaped the way people experienced information. The world of discovery became smaller, and the online experience became less about exploration and more about reinforcement. The reason behind this shift was not just technological but also financial. Large technology companies operate in an industry where engagement translates directly into profit. The longer someone stays on a platform, the more ads they see. The more ads they see, the more revenue the company generates. To maximize engagement, these companies use algorithms that prioritize content a user is most likely to interact with. If someone frequently reads certain types of news, they are shown more of it. If they watch videos with a specific perspective, similar videos continue appearing. This system is designed to be self-reinforcing, keeping users in a cycle where they consume content that aligns with their existing interests. At first, this seemed like a beneficial change. Personalization made it easier to find things people liked. It created a seamless experience where content felt tailored to each person's tastes. But over time, the consequences became clear. Instead of being exposed to a variety of perspectives, people began seeing only what was familiar and comfortable. Instead of encountering new ideas, they found themselves surrounded by content that confirmed what they already believed. The open internet had transformed into a collection of individual bubbles, each shaped by algorithms that determined what a person should see. The birth of the filter bubble was not sudden. It happened gradually, hidden beneath the promise of better user experience. It was not forced upon people, but rather introduced as a series of small improvements that made online interactions feel effortless. Yet the impact was profound. The internet, once a place of boundless knowledge and unexpected discoveries, became a space where invisible forces controlled what people saw, shaping their reality without them even realizing it. Imagine walking into a bookstore where every shelf has been rearranged just for you. The books you see are not chosen randomly, nor are they based on what other customers are browsing. Instead, they are selected based on what you have read before, what topics you seem to enjoy, and even how long you tend to spend on certain pages. As you move through the store, the selection continuously adjusts. If you pick up a book about space exploration, suddenly, more books on astronomy and science fiction appear in front of you. If you flip through a novel about mystery and crime, the store quietly replaces nearby books with detective stories and thrillers. Without realizing it, your choices are being shaped by an invisible system designed to keep you engaged. This is exactly how algorithms work in the digital world. They are the silent curators of your online experience, deciding what appears in your search results, social media feeds, and video recommendations. While they operate in the background, their influence is powerful. The articles you read, the videos you watch, and the products you discover are not simply the result of your choices, but the outcome of carefully designed systems that analyze and predict your behavior. Every action you take online is tracked and analyzed. When you search for a topic, the search engine remembers it. When you watch a video, the platform notes how long you watched before clicking away. When you pause while scrolling through social media, the system records the exact moment that caught your attention. Even the smallest interactions, such as liking a post or hovering over a thumbnail, provide valuable data. Over time, patterns emerge, and the algorithm learns what captures your interest. Platforms like YouTube, TikTok, and Netflix use advanced artificial intelligence to predict what you are most likely to watch next. If you spend time watching a certain type of video on YouTube, the platform will suggest more videos on the same subject, sometimes leading you deeper into similar content. If you follow a particular trend on TikTok, your feed will fill up with related videos, reinforcing what the algorithm believes you enjoy. If you watch a documentary on Netflix, the system will recommend movies and shows with a similar theme, even if you were initially looking for something different. These recommendations are not random. They are based on a complex understanding of human behavior. The more you interact with a specific type of content, the stronger the signal becomes. The algorithm interprets this as a preference, assuming that you want to see more of the same. While this can be helpful, making it easier to find content that matches your interests, it also has an unintended consequence. It narrows your choices, gradually shaping your digital world into a reflection of your past behavior rather than an open space for discovery. This is why two people watching videos on the same platform can have completely different experiences. One person might see a series of motivational talks, while another is shown an endless stream of political debates. One might be recommended travel vlogs, while another is guided toward conspiracy theories. Over time, this customization creates a version of the internet that is unique to each person, yet often invisible to them. It feels natural, as if the content is appearing organically. But in reality, it is the result of a system that has been learning and adapting to individual behavior. The power of these algorithms lies in their ability to hold attention. Platforms are designed to keep users engaged for as long as possible because their business models rely on it. The longer someone stays on a platform, the more advertisements they see, and the more profitable the system becomes. This is why autoplay features exist, why videos seamlessly transition into the next recommendation, and why social media feeds never truly end. The goal is not just to provide information, but to create an experience that feels effortless and rewarding, encouraging users to stay, scroll, and watch without interruption. At first, this may seem beneficial. After all, it makes it easier to find content that aligns with personal interests. But over time, the effect can be limiting. Instead of exposing people to a variety of perspectives, algorithms create a loop of familiarity. The internet, which once promised infinite possibilities, gradually becomes a space where individuals see only what they are expected to enjoy. The world that appears on their screens feels natural and unbiased, yet it is shaped by unseen forces that determine what is visible and what remains hidden. Understanding how algorithms shape reality is essential in the digital age. They are not neutral tools, but active participants in the way people consume information. They do not simply reflect personal choices. They guide them, making certain ideas more prominent while quietly filtering out others. In this invisible system, awareness is the only way to regain control. Recognizing that recommendations are not random, but carefully constructed, allows people to question their digital surroundings, explore beyond what is presented to them, and ultimately reclaim their ability to navigate the online world with greater independence. The internet appears vast and full of endless possibilities, yet most of what people see is not randomly encountered, but subtly guided. Search engines, social media platforms, and streaming services shape what content appears in front of each user. The articles someone reads, the videos they watch, and even the opinions they form are influenced by an invisible system that filters what is shown and what is left out. This creates an illusion of choice. People feel as though they are making independent decisions, yet they are often only choosing from a limited set of options pre-selected by algorithms. The way people consume information online can be divided into two main types: active searching and passive consumption. When someone actively searches for information, they type a question into a search engine, look through different sources, and compare multiple viewpoints before forming an opinion. In this process, there is at least some level of effort in seeking out knowledge. However, this kind of active searching is becoming less common. Instead, most online experiences are shaped by passive consumption, where content is presented automatically based on past behaviors. Social media feeds, video recommendations, and trending news sections encourage users to simply scroll, watch, and engage with whatever is placed in front of them. Over time, this shift from searching to consuming changes how people understand the world. Instead of seeking out new perspectives, they become accustomed to receiving information that aligns with what they already believe. This leads to an even deeper problem: confirmation bias. The internet is designed to keep users engaged, and the easiest way to do this is by showing them content they are more likely to agree with. If someone frequently reads articles that support a particular viewpoint, the algorithm assumes that they prefer that perspective and continues to present similar content. The more they engage with it, the stronger the pattern becomes. Over time, this reinforcement creates a reality where people see mostly information that confirms their existing beliefs, making it harder to consider alternative viewpoints. Instead of being challenged to think critically, they become more certain that their perspective is the only correct one. To understand how this works in real life, imagine two people researching climate change. One of them, Mark, already believes that climate change is a serious issue. He searches for articles on rising global temperatures, watches documentaries about environmental damage, and follows scientists who study climate trends. Over time, his online experience becomes filled with more reports on the dangers of climate change, policy discussions about reducing emissions, and research supporting the urgency of the problem. Meanwhile, another person, James, is skeptical about climate change. He searches for information questioning mainstream climate science, follows commentators who express doubt, and watches videos claiming that environmental concerns are exaggerated. As he continues engaging with this type of content, his online world becomes filled with more articles and videos that reinforce his doubts. Both Mark and James believe they are independently researching the topic. Neither realizes that their experiences are being shaped by algorithms reinforcing what they already think. If they ever discuss climate change, they will struggle to understand each other because they have seen entirely different sets of information. The internet, instead of providing a shared foundation of knowledge, has given them two separate realities, each one carefully constructed, based on their past interactions. This illusion of choice is one of the most powerful effects of the modern internet. It makes people believe they are freely choosing what to read, watch, and believe, when in reality, they are being guided down a path shaped by algorithms that prioritize engagement over truth. The more people consume information in this way, the less they question whether they are seeing the full picture. Without realizing it, they become locked inside a digital echo chamber where the world appears exactly as they expect it to be. Breaking free from this illusion requires awareness. It means recognizing that just because something appears in a search result or a social media feed does not mean it is the whole story. It means making the effort to actively seek out opposing viewpoints, question assumptions, and look beyond what is automatically presented. True choice comes not from simply picking among the options given, but from taking control of the information one consumes and making a conscious effort to explore beyond the boundaries of the filter bubble. When social media first became popular, it was seen as a tool for connection. People could stay in touch with friends and family, share updates about their lives, and discover new ideas from different parts of the world. It gave everyone a voice, allowing them to express opinions, discuss events, and interact with people they might never meet in real life. In the beginning, it felt open and free, a space where diverse perspectives could coexist. But as social media platforms grew, they became more than just spaces for communication. They became the most powerful controllers of information, shaping not only what people saw, but also how they understood the world. Every time someone logs into a social media platform, they are not seeing a neutral or random selection of posts. Instead, what appears on their feed is determined by algorithms that analyze past behavior, interests, and interactions. Platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram do not simply show posts in the order they were created. Instead, they decide which posts are the most relevant for each user. If someone frequently likes or comments on posts from a particular friend, that person's updates will appear more often. If they engage with certain topics, their feed will become filled with more content related to those subjects. This system creates a highly personalized experience, where each person's version of social media looks completely different from another's. The effect of this personalization is that people are gradually surrounded by content that aligns with their existing interests and beliefs. Instead of being exposed to a wide range of perspectives, they mainly see posts that reinforce their views. This creates what is known as an echo chamber, a digital space where the same opinions and ideas are repeated over and over. Within these echo chambers, people are less likely to come across information that challenges their thinking. If someone holds a particular political opinion, they will mostly see posts that support that view. If they follow news sources that lean toward a certain perspective, they will rarely encounter articles that present the other side of the story. Over time, this creates the illusion that most people think the same way they do, making opposing viewpoints seem rare, extreme, or even incorrect. The reason this happens is not just because of personalization, but because of how social media rewards engagement. Platforms are designed to keep users scrolling, clicking, and interacting for as long as possible. To achieve this, their algorithms prioritize content that is more likely to grab attention. Studies have shown that posts that trigger strong emotional reactions, such as anger or excitement, tend to receive more likes, comments, and shares. As a result, content that sparks controversy or outrage spreads much faster than neutral or balanced discussions. If a post is divisive, it is more likely to appear in people's feeds, drawing them into heated debates or reinforcing their existing beliefs. This has serious consequences for how people understand the world. Instead of being exposed to a broad and diverse range of ideas, they are shown content that is designed to keep them engaged, even if it is misleading or emotionally charged. A news article with a dramatic headline, even if it is exaggerated or inaccurate, will often reach more people than a well-researched but less sensational story. A post expressing outrage over an event, even if the details are unclear, will spread faster than a thoughtful discussion. Because of this, social media does not just reflect public opinion, it actively shapes it. Over time, this leads to a more divided society, where people with different beliefs find it increasingly difficult to understand each other. Since their social media feeds show them completely different versions of reality, they struggle to see how others could think differently. Discussions become more polarized, And instead of encouraging dialogue, social media often turns into a battlefield of conflicting opinions. What began as a tool for connection has, in many ways, become a tool for division, influencing not only what people believe, but also how they see those who disagree with them. Recognizing the power of social media in shaping perception is the first step toward breaking free from its influence. People often assume they are in control of the information they consume, but in reality, much of what they see has already been chosen for them. Understanding how these platforms operate makes it possible to question the content that appears, seek out different perspectives, and make more conscious decisions about what to believe. The internet has the potential to be a space for learning and discovery, but only if people take control of their own digital experiences, rather than allowing algorithms to control them. Imagine walking into a store where the employees know everything about you. As soon as you step inside, they greet you by name. They already know your favorite colors, the brands you like, and even the items you have been thinking about buying. When you pick up a product and examine it, they quietly take note. If you hesitate for a moment, they record the exact time you spent considering it. When you leave without making a purchase, they remember what caught your attention, expecting you to return later. You never told them anything directly, yet they know more about you than you ever intended to share. This is how the digital world operates. Every time you interact with a website, social media platform, or online store, you are unknowingly giving away pieces of personal information. Companies do not need you to fill out surveys or answer questions because your actions speak for you. Every like, share, and comment tells them what interests you. Every video you watch reveals something about your preferences, not just by what you click on, but also by how long you stay, what parts you rewind, and where you pause. Even scrolling patterns are tracked. If you slow down to read a post but do not interact with it, the system still registers that it held your attention. When you search for something online, the process seems simple. You type a question, receive results, and move on. But in the background, your search history is stored, analyzed, and used to refine what you will see in the future. If you look up a certain product, you might start seeing advertisements for it within minutes. Even private messages are not entirely private. Messaging apps collect metadata, which includes details like when you sent a message, how often you communicate with certain people, and how quickly you respond. This information helps companies build a detailed profile of your habits and routines. The data you give away does not just stay with the platform you are using. It is part of a massive industry where information is bought, sold, and analyzed. Companies profit from your digital footprint, selling insights to advertisers who want to target you with precision. If a business knows that you have been searching for running shoes, they do not need to waste advertising money showing you products that do not interest you. Instead, they can place ads for the exact brand and style you are most likely to buy. This is why advertisements often feel eerily relevant, as if the internet is reading your mind. But this goes beyond shopping. Data collection affects the news you see, the recommendations you receive, and even the prices you are offered. Two people searching for the same flight might see different ticket prices based on their browsing history. One person might be shown expensive options because their profile suggests they are willing to pay more, while another sees discounts because the system predicts they need a better deal. The same applies to job listings, loan offers, and even educational opportunities. The digital world does not treat everyone the same way. It customizes experiences based on the data collected, often without people realizing it. Most people do not think about how much information they give away because it happens silently. There are no warnings, no clear explanations of what is being tracked, and no obvious signs that data is being stored. It feels like simple browsing, but behind the scenes, every action is recorded. The more you interact with the digital world, the more detailed your profile becomes. Companies justify this by saying it improves user experience, making services more personalized and efficient. While this is partly true, it also means that businesses and advertisers know more about you than you might be comfortable with. Understanding the value of personal data is essential in today's digital age. Information is not just a byproduct of online activity. It is a powerful asset that shapes how companies treat individuals. Being aware of what is being collected allows you to take control of your digital presence, question why certain content is being shown to you, and make more informed decisions about the platforms you trust. The internet offers endless possibilities, but only if you understand the price you're paying with every click, search, and interaction. Imagine walking through a town where every street is lined with posters supporting the same political candidate. Every newspaper you pick up praises their policies, and every conversation you overhear seems to agree with their views. It would feel as though the entire town supports this one candidate, making you believe that voting for them is the obvious choice. But what if, in another part of the same town, someone else was experiencing the opposite? Their streets are covered with posters for a different candidate. Their news is filled with arguments against the person you support. Their world looks entirely different from yours, even though both of you live in the same place. This is how the internet shapes political views today. Filter bubbles ensure that people are surrounded by content that aligns with what they already believe. Instead of walking through a shared public space where diverse ideas can be debated, individuals are placed inside digital worlds that reinforce their existing opinions. Elections, protests, and political movements are no longer driven by shared experiences but by carefully controlled streams of information. During major elections, social media and search engines do not just show people neutral political content. They show targeted messages designed to appeal to specific groups. Campaigns use data analytics to understand voters on a personal level, crafting advertisements that speak directly to their fears, hopes, and values. A person concerned about national security might see ads highlighting a candidate's strong stance on defense. Another voter focused on healthcare might be shown messages promising better medical policies. These ads are not broadcast to everyone equally. They are tailored to individuals, ensuring that each person sees a version of politics that feels personally relevant. A striking example of this was seen in the 2016 U.S. presidential election. Political campaigns used social media platforms to deliver highly specific advertisements to different groups of voters. Instead of promoting a single message to the entire country, they tested thousands of different versions of ads, each designed to influence particular demographics. Some messages were designed to increase enthusiasm among supporters, while others were crafted to discourage certain groups from voting at all. This strategy was not just about persuasion, but about shaping the political landscape itself. Similar tactics have been observed in elections across the world, from the United Kingdom's Brexit referendum to elections in India and Brazil. The impact of these filter bubbles is not just about how people vote, but also about how they discuss politics. Online, political discussions often feel far more extreme than they do in everyday life. In face-to-face conversations, there is room for nuance. People may disagree, but they also recognize the complexity of different issues. On the internet, however, conversations are shaped by algorithms that prioritize engagement. Content that sparks outrage spreads faster than balanced discussions. A thoughtful debate about policy details may not get much attention, but a post with a dramatic headline and emotional appeal can go viral within minutes. This encourages people to take more extreme positions, as those are the views that gain the most visibility. As a result, political divides deepen. When people only see content that supports their perspective, they become more convinced that their view is the only logical one. Those who disagree seem not just misinformed but completely irrational. Instead of conversations that bridge gaps, online debates turn into battles where each side sees the other as an opponent rather than a fellow citizen with different experiences. This growing division has real-world consequences. It affects friendships, workplaces, and even governments. In many countries, political polarization has reached levels where compromise feels impossible. Protests become more intense. Political debates become more hostile, and finding common ground becomes more difficult. The internet, which once promised to bring people together, has instead created invisible walls between them. Understanding this hidden influence is crucial for anyone who wants to engage with politics in a meaningful way. Recognizing that online content is shaped by unseen forces allows people to question what they see, seek out different viewpoints, and avoid falling into the trap of one-sided thinking. Politics should be about discussion and debate, not about living in separate realities where each person believes only their world is true. The future of democracy depends on breaking free from these digital bubbles and rediscovering the value of genuine conversation. The internet makes life easier by giving people what they like. Streaming services recommend movies similar to the ones already watched. News feeds prioritize articles that confirm what a person already believes. Search engines adjust results based on past browsing habits. Social media fills timelines with posts from people who share the same opinions. At first, this feels convenient. It creates a world where people are always comfortable, surrounded by familiar ideas and perspectives. But there is a hidden danger in this comfort, the gradual loss of exposure to anything different. Most people assume they are making independent choices online, but the reality is more complicated. The internet does not just respond to preferences, it shapes them. When algorithms detect a pattern in someone's behavior, they reinforce it. If a person watches a few videos about a certain topic, more videos on that subject will appear. If they read news from a particular source, they will be shown similar articles in the future. Over time, this creates a loop where a person's beliefs and interests are continuously strengthened. Instead of exploring the vast landscape of information available online, they move in a narrow, curated path designed to keep them engaged. This system becomes especially dangerous when it comes to misinformation. The more a person engages with a certain idea, the more they are exposed to it. This is how conspiracy theories spread so easily. A person who watches one video questioning the moon landing might soon find their recommendations filled with more content claiming it was faked. Someone who reads an article about a medical conspiracy may begin seeing posts discouraging vaccines. What starts as a curiosity can quickly turn into belief, not because the information is true, but because the algorithm keeps reinforcing it. Without realizing it, people can find themselves in a digital world where falsehoods appear more convincing than facts. The more personalized the internet becomes, the harder it is to see outside of one's own perspective. People are no longer simply choosing what to believe. Their beliefs are being carefully shaped by the content they are shown. This is why discussions online often feel more extreme than those in real life. If someone spends enough time in a space where one idea is repeated constantly, they start to believe it is the only reasonable view. Opposing perspectives seem not just different but completely irrational. The result is a world where people struggle to understand each other, not because they are unwilling, but because their digital experiences have led them down entirely separate paths. Extreme personalization does not just limit knowledge, it isolates people. Instead of being part of a shared reality, each person exists in their own carefully crafted digital environment. The internet, which was once seen as a gateway to endless information, now functions more like a maze where each person is guided in a different direction. Breaking out of this bubble is difficult because it requires active effort. It means seeking out new sources, questioning recommendations, and deliberately exposing oneself to uncomfortable ideas. Most people do not realize they are inside a bubble until they make the effort to step outside of it. Understanding the dark side of personalization is the first step toward breaking free. The internet does not have to be a place where people are trapped in their own beliefs. It can be a tool for discovery, but only if used with awareness. Comfort is easy, but growth comes from challenge. A world that only reflects what one already knows is a world that never changes. True understanding comes from stepping beyond the familiar, questioning what feels certain, and recognizing that the internet should serve knowledge, not limit it. Imagine living in a world where everything around you confirms what you already believe. Every article you read, every post you see, and every conversation you have reinforces your opinions. At first, this feels reassuring. There is no confusion, no uncertainty, and no reason to question yourself. But over time, something begins to change. The more your ideas are reinforced, the more extreme they feel. Opposing views no longer seem like simple disagreements. They feel like personal attacks. The world outside your bubble starts to look more hostile, and without realizing it, you begin to feel trapped inside your own certainty. This is the emotional toll of the filter bubble. Instead of allowing people to explore different perspectives, it locks them into a narrow space where everything feels either completely right or entirely wrong. There is little room for complexity or uncertainty. In the real world, ideas evolve through discussion and debate. People hear different viewpoints, reconsider their positions, and sometimes change their minds. But in a filter bubble, this process stops. Instead, emotions become heightened. When people see only content that supports their beliefs, they feel more passionate about them. When they encounter something that contradicts their views, it feels like a threat. This constant emotional reinforcement creates a cycle of stress, anxiety, and even anger. Social media platforms, news feeds, and recommendation systems are designed to keep people engaged. And one of the most powerful ways to do that is through emotion. Studies have shown that content triggering strong feelings, whether excitement, outrage, or fear, spreads more quickly than neutral information. This means that people inside filter bubbles are not just seeing more of the same opinions, but also seeing the most emotionally charged versions of those opinions. This can lead to a sense of constant tension. Political news feels like a battle. Social issues seem more divisive than ever. Even everyday discussions online can quickly escalate into heated arguments. Beyond stress and frustration, filter bubbles also contribute to a deeper sense of isolation. When people are surrounded only by those who agree with them, they may struggle to connect with others who see the world differently. Friendships can become strained when disagreements feel too big to overcome. Families may find it harder to talk about important issues without conflict. In extreme cases, people may withdraw from real-world interactions altogether, preferring the safety of their online communities where their views are never challenged. This digital isolation can lead to real-world loneliness, as genuine conversations become rarer and social interactions feel more like ideological battles. Breaking free from a filter bubble is not easy because it requires a conscious effort to challenge one's own habits. It means recognizing that the internet is not an objective source of truth, but a system designed to shape what people see. It means actively seeking out different perspectives even when they feel uncomfortable. It means questioning why certain content appears on a feed and resisting the urge to engage only with things that confirm existing beliefs. More than anything, it means being willing to step outside of the digital comfort zone and embrace the complexity of the real world. The internet has the power to connect people, expand knowledge, and foster meaningful discussions. But it can only do this if people are aware of how it works and take steps to avoid becoming trapped inside their own beliefs. The human mind is meant to explore, question, and grow. A world that always feels right may seem comforting, but true understanding comes from confronting the uncertainty and diversity of perspectives that exist beyond the bubble. The internet feels endless. It seems like a vast space where anyone can explore ideas, connect with others, and find information on anything imaginable. But beneath this illusion of openness, there is a quiet force shaping every experience. The websites people visit, the news they read, and even the opinions they form are influenced by a small group of powerful companies. The filter bubble does not exist by accident. It is built, maintained, and controlled by the biggest names in technology: Google, Facebook, Amazon, and a few others that dominate the digital world. These companies did not start with the intention of limiting what people see. In the early days of the internet, the goal was to provide access to information. Search engines were created to help people find what they were looking for. Social media platforms were designed to connect friends and family. Online marketplaces were built to make shopping easier. But as the internet grew, so did competition. Companies realized that keeping people engaged for as long as possible was the key to success. The longer users stayed on their platforms, the more data they collected, and the more money they made from advertising. This led to the rise of sophisticated algorithms that track behavior, predict interests, and shape what each person sees online. Big tech justifies these systems by calling them personalization. They argue that algorithms help people find content that is relevant and enjoyable. A search engine tries to show results that match a person's interests. A social media feed highlights posts that are likely to get a reaction. An online store suggests products similar to those already purchased. On the surface, this seems harmless, even helpful. No one wants to be overwhelmed with random information that does not matter to them. But personalization is not a neutral process. The same tools that make life more convenient also have the power to influence thoughts, beliefs, and decisions in ways most people do not even realize. The ethical debate surrounding big tech's role in shaping public opinion has grown louder in recent years. Many people believe that companies like Google and Facebook should be held responsible for the effects of their algorithms. When false information spreads, when political divisions deepen, when people fall into extremist views, the question arises, who is to blame? Tech companies often respond by saying they do not create content, they only organize it. They argue that people are responsible for what they choose to believe. But this argument ignores the fact that algorithms do not just organize information, they decide what is seen and what is hidden. A search engine does not show every possible result, it ranks them based on factors that users do not control. A social media feed does not display posts in a neutral order, it prioritizes what will keep people engaged. The difference between personalization and manipulation is subtle but crucial. Personalization should help people find what they need without distorting reality. Manipulation happens when the system is designed to push certain ideas while hiding others, not for the sake of truth, but for the sake of profit or control. The fine line between the two is often blurred because the same tools that make recommendations useful can also be used to influence beliefs. If a person is only shown one side of an argument, they may never even realize that another perspective exists. If search results always favor a certain viewpoint, people may assume that viewpoint is the only valid one. This control over information is one of the greatest powers in the modern world. In past generations, those who controlled newspapers, television stations, and publishing houses had the most influence over public opinion. Today, that power belongs to tech companies. Their influence is not always obvious because it works in the background, shaping reality in a way that feels natural. But the effects are profound. The way people think about politics, society, health, and even their own identities is shaped by the choices these companies make. As technology continues to evolve, the question of responsibility becomes more urgent. Should companies have the right to decide what information is seen and what is hidden? Should they be required to create algorithms that promote a balanced view of the world? Or is it up to individuals to break free from the filter bubble on their own? There is no simple answer, but one thing is clear. Those who control the algorithms control more than just the internet. They control the way people understand reality itself. The internet is designed to be easy. Information appears instantly. News is delivered in neatly packaged headlines. Videos autoplay in an endless stream. Social media feeds scroll forever, carefully tailored to show exactly what will keep someone engaged. Everything feels effortless, but hidden beneath this convenience is a quiet limitation. Most people are not truly choosing what they see. Their digital world has been shaped for them by algorithms, past behaviors, and invisible filters. The result is a bubble, a space where information is familiar, comfortable, and predictable. Breaking free from this bubble does not happen by accident. It requires conscious effort, curiosity, and the willingness to see beyond what is immediately presented. The first step in escaping a filter bubble is recognizing that it exists. Many people assume they are getting an objective view of the world when they search for something online or scroll through their feeds. But search engines rank results based on previous activity. Social media prioritizes content that aligns with past interactions. News websites suggest articles based on reading history. Everything is personalized, which means the information people receive is not neutral. It is shaped by past choices. Once someone understands this, they can begin taking steps to expand their digital world. Changing browsing habits is one way to break free. Using incognito mode prevents search engines from relying on past searches to influence new results. Trying different search engines rather than relying only on Google can lead to a broader range of information. Some search engines do not track user behavior, offering a more neutral perspective. VPNs allow people to see how content appears in different parts of the world, revealing how information is presented differently based on location. Small changes like these can make a significant difference in the variety of content that appears. Expanding media consumption is another crucial step. Many people unknowingly limit themselves to a handful of news sources, often ones that align with their existing beliefs. But the truth is rarely simple, and no single source has a complete picture. Reading news from different outlets, especially those with varying perspectives, helps expose different sides of an issue. Exploring independent journalism, international media, and long-form investigative reports can provide a more balanced understanding of events. Even when something feels true, asking where the information comes from and who benefits from it can lead to a deeper awareness. Training the mind to question online content is just as important as changing browsing habits. The internet is filled with information, but not all of it is reliable. Sensational headlines, viral posts, and emotionally charged content often spread faster than facts. Learning to pause before accepting something as true is a skill that takes practice. Checking multiple sources, looking for original data, and considering alternative viewpoints can help uncover biases in the information being presented. Instead of immediately reacting to content, asking questions like, who created this? Why is this being shown to me? And what perspective is missing? Can lead to a more thoughtful engagement with online information. Breaking free from a filter bubble does not mean rejecting technology or avoiding personalization altogether. It means using the internet with awareness, making active choices instead of passive ones. It means being open to different viewpoints even when they challenge existing beliefs. It means recognizing that true understanding comes from exploring the full complexity of the world, not just the parts that feel comfortable. The internet is a tool, and like any tool, its impact depends on how it is used. The more people take control of their digital experiences, the less control algorithms and corporations will have over their perception of reality. The internet was once seen as a place of endless possibilities, where anyone could access knowledge, connect with others, and share ideas freely. But over time, the invisible structures guiding online experiences have become more restrictive. Algorithms decide what people see. Corporations collect data to shape browsing habits. The filter bubble surrounds users with familiar information, reinforcing existing beliefs rather than challenging them. Breaking out of this cycle is not just about changing individual habits. It is also about using the right tools, platforms, search engines, and technologies designed to promote openness instead of confinement. One of the simplest ways to expand access to diverse information is by using alternative search engines. Google dominates online searches, but its results are shaped by a complex ranking system that considers past searches, location, and user behavior. This means different people searching for the same topic might see different results. Alternative search engines, such as those that do not track users, provide a more neutral way to explore the internet. Without personal data influencing the results, users get a broader range of perspectives rather than an echo of their previous searches. Social media plays a major role in shaping public perception, but mainstream platforms prioritize engagement over balance. This often means controversial, emotional, and divisive content is amplified because it keeps people interacting. In response to this, decentralized social networks have emerged. These platforms work differently from traditional ones. Instead of a single company controlling the content and algorithms, these networks distribute control among users. This reduces the influence of a central authority, making it harder for any single group to manipulate information flow. Open-source browsers also contribute to a more independent internet experience by allowing users to customize their online interactions instead of relying on preset corporate guidelines. Technology is also providing tools to fight algorithmic control. Browser extensions and apps can help users break free from the invisible systems shaping their digital worlds. Some extensions allow people to see news from different political perspectives, ensuring they are not stuck in a single ideological space. Others track how much time is spent on social media or limit the ability of platforms to collect personal data. There are even tools that let users see how search results differ around the world, exposing how the same question can lead to different answers depending on where and who is searching. Beyond individual tools, there is a growing movement pushing for a free and unbiased internet. Activists, journalists, and technologists are working to create policies that demand transparency from big tech companies. Some governments are discussing laws that would require search engines and social media platforms to reveal how their algorithms work. Digital literacy programs are teaching people how to recognize bias in online content and protect their personal data. Open access initiatives are making research, educational materials, and news more widely available without the barriers of paywalls or corporate control. The internet does not have to be a place where algorithms quietly decide what people believe. With the right tools and awareness, it can return to what it was meant to be, a space for discovery, learning, and connection. The challenge is not just to find information, but to seek out perspectives that go beyond what is comfortable and familiar. The more people take control of their digital experience, the more they push back against the forces that shape online reality without consent. The internet is always changing, and with enough effort, it can change for the better. The internet was once imagined as a place of endless opportunity, a space where knowledge would be free and accessible to all. But as technology advanced, so did the systems that control it. Today, the internet is no longer a vast, open field, but a carefully curated space where algorithms decide what people see, shaping their thoughts and beliefs in ways they do not always realize. The question now is whether this will change. Will the internet become even more personalized, reinforcing filter bubbles and limiting perspectives further? Or can it move towards something more open and balanced, where people have greater control over their own digital experience? The direction of the internet depends largely on how artificial intelligence and algorithms continue to evolve. Personalization is becoming more advanced, with AI learning not just from searches and clicks, but from emotions, voice patterns, and even how long someone hesitates before choosing a video or article. These systems are designed to keep people engaged, often by showing them more of what they already believe or enjoy. As AI becomes more sophisticated, filter bubbles could become even harder to escape, as they will be built on deeper, more detailed understandings of individual preferences. At the same time, advancements in AI also offer the possibility of more transparency, with some researchers working on systems that allow users to see and adjust how content is curated for them. The future of the internet is not just about technology, but about how that technology is used. Governments and regulations will play a crucial role in shaping what comes next. In some countries, efforts are being made to hold tech companies accountable for the way they control information. There are debates about whether platforms should be required to reveal how their algorithms work or give users the option to turn off personalization altogether. Some regulations are focusing on protecting personal data, limiting the ability of companies to track online activity without consent. But these efforts also come with challenges. Striking a balance between protecting users and allowing companies to innovate is not easy. Too much regulation could lead to censorship or restrictions on free expression. Too little regulation could allow the filter bubble problem to grow worse. The decisions made in the coming years will shape the digital world for future generations. While technology and policy matter, individuals also have the power to push for change. The internet is not just shaped by those who design it, but also by those who use it. People can demand greater transparency from the platforms they rely on. They can support independent and diverse sources of information, rather than relying solely on algorithm-driven recommendations. They can question the content they see, challenge their own biases, and actively seek out perspectives that go beyond what feels comfortable. The more people become aware of how their digital reality is shaped, the harder it becomes for companies to control it without accountability. The future of the internet is not fixed. It is still being written, shaped by choices made at every level, from the engineers programming algorithms to the policymakers creating regulations, to the everyday users deciding how they interact with online content. The internet could become an even more divided and manipulated space, or it could return to the vision of an open, diverse, and unbiased platform for knowledge and connection. The outcome depends on whether people choose to let technology lead them or take the lead themselves. Imagine an internet where no invisible force decides what you should see. A place where searching for information does not lead you down a carefully constructed path designed to keep you engaged, but instead presents the full range of perspectives available. In this world, the internet would not push people toward what they already believe, but challenge them to think in new ways. It would be a space of true discovery, where knowledge is not limited by algorithms trained to prioritize familiarity over depth. The idea of an open internet does not mean an absence of personalization. People still want content that is relevant to them, and technology should make experiences smoother and more efficient. But in a world without filter bubbles, personalization would not come at the cost of diversity. Instead of reinforcing a single viewpoint, digital platforms would be designed to introduce variety. A news feed would not only show headlines that match past reading habits, but also present different angles on the same issue. A video recommendation system would not just offer more of the same type of content, but suggest something new, something unexpected. The goal would be balance, not restriction. Real digital freedom means having the power to choose what to explore without being unknowingly guided by hidden systems. It means being able to browse, search, and interact without an algorithm shaping every experience to fit a predetermined mold. It also means knowing when personalization is happening and having the ability to turn it off. Transparency would be key in this world. Instead of blindly accepting what is shown, users would have control over how their information is filtered. They would be able to see why certain content appears and adjust settings to ensure they are exposed to a broader range of ideas. Breaking out of a filter bubble is not just about accessing different information. It is about changing the way people think. Exposure to diverse viewpoints does not mean agreeing with everything, but understanding that the world is more complex than any single narrative. It means realizing that others see things differently for a reason, that opinions are shaped by experience, history, and culture. In a world without filter bubbles, conversations would be richer, debates more meaningful, and society less divided by the invisible walls of algorithm-driven isolation. The internet has the power to shape minds, influence beliefs, and define reality. But it should be a tool for growth, not limitation. A truly open digital world would encourage curiosity rather than complacency, understanding rather than division. It would not tell people what they want to hear, but offer them the full spectrum of what exists. And in doing so, it would give them something far greater than convenience. It would give them the freedom to see the world as it truly is. The internet is woven into daily life in ways that often go unnoticed. It is where people get their news, connect with others, form opinions, and even shape their understanding of the world. But beneath its vastness, algorithms are constantly working to refine what each person sees, creating an environment where beliefs are reinforced rather than challenged. The power of awareness is recognizing this invisible influence and understanding that no online experience is entirely neutral. Knowing about filter bubbles is not just about understanding how the internet works. It is about recognizing how it shapes thoughts, emotions, and decisions. The way information is presented can change how people feel about issues, how they see others, and even how they view themselves. Awareness creates the ability to question what appears on a screen rather than accepting it at face value. It encourages curiosity, leading to a more thoughtful and intentional way of engaging with the digital world. The internet is not going away. It will continue to evolve, becoming more complex and integrated into every aspect of life. But while technology may advance, the way people use it is still a choice. Every click, every search, and every interaction feeds into the system, shaping the algorithms that, in turn, shape experiences. This means that change does not have to come from tech companies or governments alone. Individual actions matter. People can choose to seek out different perspectives, to challenge their own biases, and to be mindful of the ways they consume digital content. A simple experiment can reveal just how much of an impact filter bubbles have. For 1 week, try browsing with intention. Visit news sources you normally would not read. Watch videos from creators with different viewpoints. Search for topics in multiple places instead of relying on the first results that appear. Take note of how recommendations change and whether exposure to different ideas affects your thinking. This exercise is not about agreeing with everything you see, but about recognizing how much of the online world remains hidden unless actively sought out. Despite the challenges of a world shaped by algorithms, there is reason for hope. Technology is powerful, but it does not have to control the way people think. The ability to question, to explore, and to make conscious choices still belongs to the individual. The internet can be a tool for division or a gateway to knowledge, and that choice remains in the hands of those who use it. The more people take control of their digital experience, the closer the internet comes to being a space of true connection, understanding, and discovery.